Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Hey, you're up next.
My throat hurts so bad. There's no way I can sing tonight.
Here, try these.
Vicks VapoCool Drops.
Yeah, Vicks VapoCool Drops has maximum strength menthol with a rush of Vicks Vapors.
Ooh, I can already feel it.
I told you. So, you ready?
I'm ready.
Please welcome to the stage.
Vaporize sore throat pain fast with Vicks VapoCool Drops.
President Biden will spend several days this week out west, campaign events in Los Angeles and San Francisco, as his administration works to keep boosting American chip manufacturing.
A preliminary agreement with the Commerce Department could provide as much as $1.5 billion in federal funding to global foundries to expand computer chip production in New York and Vermont.
You know, as we all remember, very recently during the pandemic, we faced a shortage of chips, which led to shutdowns and layoffs and furloughs.
Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo, Congress approved the CHIPS and Science Act in 2022, authorizing more than $50 billion in semiconductor manufacturing, research, and development. In Washington, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Amid all the worry about inflation, gas prices keep going back up.
The average price of regular grade is now $3.37 per gallon, 13 cents higher than 2 weeks ago, and 19 cents higher than 6 weeks ago.
Analyst Trilby Lundberg also predicts prices will rise even more. AAA's nationwide survey of stations has gas cheaper, a $3.27 average for regular. On Wall Street, there will be no stock trading, and most banks will be closed, and there's no mail delivery, all because of what day this is.
President's Day is a federal holiday that honors the first U.S. President, George Washington, whose birthday was February 22nd. The holiday is officially called Washington's birthday. In 1885, Congress designated February 22nd as a holiday for all federal workers. And in 1971, the Uniform Monday holiday law changed the observance day to the third Monday in February. President Abraham Lincoln is also traditionally honored on the day, even though his birthday fell on February 12th.
That's Fox's Tanya J. Powers. The NBA All-Star Game was a scoring fest. The Eastern Conference had a record 211 points, beating the West by 25. I'm Dave Anthony, and this is Fox News.
Here's a look at local news. Well, following the death of Brandon Hardaway, victim of the shooting outside of Poor Brothers Tap Room on February 8, Champaign police will classify the investigation as a homicide case. The officials say the investigation indicates Fidel Chimanga of Urbana had shot Hardaway before fleeing the scene. He's still awaiting trial. Champaign firefighters called out for a garage fire Saturday night, neighbor alerting the department to a fire garage in the 1600 block of Williamsburg Drive. Smoke and fire coming from the attached garage of a single-story home. Good news crews able to contain the fire to the garage. The cause is under investigation. The Office of the Illinois State Fire Marshal pushing back a deadline for volunteer emergency responders to receive a tax credit. A volunteer emergency worker credit is a $500 non-refundable credit that can be used to reduce individual state income tax liability over the next 4 years. The credit's awarded to volunteer fire workers that apply for it and qualify for it. You're up to date from the Stevie Jay Broadcasting Newsroom. I'm Joe Miller.
Hey, good Monday morning, President's Day. It's a holiday. I don't think schools or banks or post offices, as Jim said, most are closed.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. There's Diane Ducey.
Good morning. I'm
Stevie Jay. Greg, I think we had, I'm going to guess, I don't know this, I'm going to say 3 inches Friday. Is that about right?
Yeah, about 3 to 5, where the range is from north to south in our neck of the woods. Heck, actually, almost had 8 inches down around Effingham.
Wow.
And a couple of reports of a little thunder snow down there too.
Well, it's our meteorologist Greg Solier, brought to you by the Urbana Park District.
And they remind you, if you have President's Day off today, maybe you should walk around Lincoln Square, because the Urbana Park District and Champaign County Camera Club have their display until February 25th as you enjoy over 300 photographs. UrbanaParks.org for
All right,
details.
Mr. Solier, what are you looking at for our week? I think a little better, huh?
Yeah, Diane's got the right idea. Just kind of get out there, walk around, and watch and listen to the snow melt away out there with nothing but an early spring feel as we had approached the middle part of the week. A downright spring feel around here the middle part of the week. Just a slight setback, and it is at least the latest round of cold air that's due in here over the course of the weekend. Front side of it in particular, more of an eastward movement on it, so that's good news. And we've just flooded much of the country, especially the plains and Corn Belt, with unseasonably mild to warm, probably some record-setting temperatures at some point for next week. So the simple math at 20 to 25 above average puts us into the 60s at some point beyond Monday or Tuesday of next week. That's the headline story around here. So hang in there. This too shall pass, but not before cold morning. Weekend lows were down to the single digits and teens across the area. We have readings in the same range this morning. 18 over at Rantoul now, same at Danville. 22 Bloomington normal. 21 at the Kankakee. They just had a couple of snow flurries from that storm system. 27 at St. Louis. We're 19 now over at Willett and Savoy. A correct wind out of the south that'll help temperatures up to 41 with a sun-filled day today. Not so cold tonight. 26 tomorrow. Better at 48 and a mostly sunny day with a pickup of the south wind. That'll keep us in the 30s here tomorrow night and a breezy, milder Wednesday at 57. Bit of rain. Nothing too out of control there. But we're back into muddy grounds, obviously, with the snow melt and the rain on Thursday at 52. Cooler in the mid to upper 40s Friday and Saturday, 50 Sunday, 60 plus around here by Monday and Tuesday of next week. Steve Day broadcasting at Beetlejuice, Greg Solgay.
Thank you, sir. And again, next week is March, people. And March 10, we spring ahead on the clocks, just FYI. Jonathan Savage, good morning. How are you?
I'm very good. Good morning to you.
Fox News Radio reporting, Ace out in London, England. Well, okay, so Alexei Navalny is dead. He was 47 years old. He was a nemesis, I guess, of Vladimir Putin. Is it true over the weekend they found his body all bruised up?
Well, Vladimir Putin wouldn't even say his name. People point to that as evidence of the threat that Vladimir Putin felt as a result of Alexei Navalny. In terms of his body, there have been rumors coming out of the prison, unverified rumors about, a bruised body, about some sort of struggle at the prison. But it's almost impossible for us to know what really happened yet because there is no body to be seen. His family have not been given access to his body. His mother went up inside the Arctic Circle trying to get access to her son's body along with lawyers. They were told the remains were in a morgue. They went to this morgue. They couldn't get in. The people there didn't answer any questions. Apparently, one of the lawyers was physically thrown out of the building. So there are many, many theories, of course, about what happened. Many fingers pointing at the Kremlin. We know that many critics of Vladimir Putin, turncoat spies, even journalists have been killed, disappeared, assaulted, locked up in prison. Alexei Navalny's wife has been speaking today. She believes that Vladimir Putin is responsible for her husband's death, says he was murdered, and says that the reason the body hasn't been returned to the family, her suspicion is that they're waiting for traces of the poison Novichok to disappear from his remains.
Wow. 400 people reportedly have been arrested protesting all of this in Russia, correct?
Yeah, there are reports of protests across Russia. Dissent and protest is heavily clamped down upon in Vladimir Putin's Russia. But, of course, there are still people who do try to maintain some kind of opposition to the Russian president. There were also in Moscow the ambassadors from the US and the UK laying tributes to Alexei Navalny at a monument in the center of Moscow. So there are plenty of people out there trying to sort of get the word out and keep Alexei Navalny's memory alive.
If Vladimir Putin was responsible, I guess the question is why now? I mean, he's in the Arctic Circle. He's out of sight, out of mind. Why now?
Yeah, I mean, Alexei Navalny said, he said that the Kremlin tried to kill him once before. He was poisoned with a nerve agent in 2021, I think it was, and ended up in a coma in Germany and then recovered to return back to Russia only to be incarcerated. He said, if they decide to kill me, it means we are incredibly strong and we need to use this power. Why now? It's impossible to say, other than this, if they did have anything to do with his death, they would have just thought now is the time.
Okay. And as far as, you do what you do in Russia. If you protest, you go to jail, and who knows what happens to you. That's kind of the same in China. They don't really tolerate that, do they?
These are two countries in which it's very difficult to oppose the government. Russia and China, both different sort of forms of government, of autocracy. Vladimir Putin in recent years, he's closed down independent media. If you turn on the TV in Russia, it's all state-controlled. There's very little debate, and even things like referring to the invasion of Ukraine as a war rather than a special military operation is more than frowned upon. People go to prison for that kind of thing. There's almost no dissent. Vladimir Putin is up for election next month, and there are no plausible candidates on the ballot against him.
No. Jonathan Savage, Fox News Radio, London, England. I got to say, you're got to be near Dublin. Are you from Dublin?
I'm from Scotland. I
thought it was what town? You're from Scotland. That's Ireland. I'm sorry. I was gonna say St. Andrew. My bad. I had you Scotland the whole time.
Of course.
What part of Scotland are you from?
The town or city I'm from is called Stirling. If you know Edinburgh, it's like a mini Edinburgh.
I was in Edinburgh a year and a half ago. What a nice town.
Well, Stirling's about 30 miles away.
Boom!
And
the home
it's
of
like a small
Jonathan
version.
Savage. Well done, sir. Appreciate the time, son. Thanks so much.
Take care.
You bet. ESPN 93.5, Jonathan Savage, Fox News Radio in London. 7:13, Illinois goes on the road and beats Maryland. Finally, we beat Maryland.
Unbelievable.
It was a tough, close game, and it looked like it might be slipping away, a.k.a. Michigan State. Brad Underwood after the game.
Great atmosphere, great crowd, 18,000, everything that, you can't forget that even though Kevin's, they got off to a tough start, this is a really good basketball team that was picked at the top of our league and had 2 first-team All-League players. And so that team, as Kevin's done an unbelievable job, and that team's responded in a really positive way, and their young kids are continuing to grow. So really proud of our group. Great environment, had to make plays, had to make winning plays. I thought the play Marcus DeMoss made late didn't foul. Then it was the outlet pass to Justin, to Coleman, and big momentum play in the game.
Huge momentum play in the game. It felt like, they're going to tie it. Jameer Young goes up. Well, what is the good sport Kevin Willard, the coach of Maryland, say?
Brad was saying how he thought that Terrence did a pretty good job on Jameer down the stretch. What did you see from that matchup?
Actually, I'll be honest with you, I think Jameer got fouled about 12 times and didn't get a call. So I think if we're calling fouls down one end, it's got to be the same way. So he did a good job, but you got to call it the same way.
Well, what they should have asked him and didn't is that Illinois is up by 4. You can't just cry me a river. I mean, everybody, you get calls for you and against you. Okay, so Illinois is up 4 with 30 seconds. Coach, why are you calling timeouts? Nobody asked him that question.
I see.
He lost track of the score. The bench lost track of the score. They thought they were down 3. They had to. There's no reason. It was shocking. I loved it. But it's 34 seconds left. Illinois is up 4, and they're letting us run the clock down. Thank you. But how could a reporter, unless you're scared of them, but you got to say, Coach, why aren't the assistants jumping up, tackling the coach? Coach, you got a foul. It's 34 seconds. You're down 4.
I see.
You have to foul because it's over. If they run the clock down, it's over. We don't get 2 possessions.
I didn't see all that.
Well, it was
very insightful, Stevie.
Yeah, very
84-80 was the final.
Yeah. 85, 80?
I think it had been since 2011 since we actually won.
Our triplets are 14 last time we won in Maryland.
Wow.
So anyway,
Isn't that crazy?
85-80, Illinois wins a very hard-fought game. And then here's shock upon shock.
Yes.
Wow.
Buckeyes on top over the Boilermakers.
We control our destiny. We can be the Big Ten champion if we win the next 6. Now, Wednesday night at Penn State, those suckers, they're putting us in huff. We're playing in Huff.
I see.
It's the Rec.
So they're right on top.
It's 6,500.
Okay.
It's going to be absolutely on top of us, and they'll get a sellout because they can't sell their big place. So they're going to have everybody. Illinois is here. They'll probably give them a free, I don't know, tuition. They'll have full. It's going to be on top of us, yelling stuff we're going to hear.
That's right.
It's going to be a test for our older ball club because everybody loads up for Illinois. Maryland has been averaging like zero population coming to basketball games. They had a sellout because they were giving stuff away, and it was Illinois.
Interesting.
So they come after the big dog, and that's us.
Okay. Well, we've got the Illinois women in action against Indiana at 1 o'clock at the State Farm Center. So speaking of coming on out, if you have President's Day off, the kids are out of school or something, go on and check our Illini women out today. As far as other Big Ten basketball, we just mentioned Ohio State beating number 2 Purdue 73-69. Northwestern took down Indiana 76-72, and Minnesota over Rutgers 81-70. We had Parkland winning both on the men's and women's side against John Wooden Community College. And as far as our baseball team, 2-2 right now coming out of the season. Our softball team won a couple, and then the others were canceled due to weather. That also happened in NASCAR. So the Daytona 500 is today.
Yeah, Danny Hartlib's team did well against the number 1 team in America, Wake Forest. We lost 5-2. A guy that's going to be picked in the draft in the top 5 struck out 10 of our Illini, but pretty good effort. Weather this morning brought to you by Busey. For over 150 years, it's Busey, member FDIC. Fox Business coming up. Check our markets. See what they look like coming next. ESPN 93.5.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for East Central Illinois, Champaign, and Ben Nevis Saturday. Nice one ahead. Holiday for some coming off late last week's snow and very cold weather over the weekend. It's back into perhaps a more or less spring-like feel around these parts as the week wears on, and another run of extended early spring-like weather for next week. Sunny turning out as cold later in this afternoon. Light southeast to south wind will become southwest, and highs topping out around 41 for tonight. Partly cloudy skies, not so cold either. Lows down to 26. Light south wind for the day tomorrow. Mostly sunny. 48 in the afternoon as south breezes pick up. We'll level off into the 30s tomorrow night, heading towards the 50s. 57 on Wednesday with a mostly sunny, breezy, milder day. Be a bit of rain with temperatures up to 52 on Thursday. Slight cooling over the course of Friday and Saturday, but still above average at 45 on Friday. A Saturday high of 47 or back into the 50s on Sunday. 60-degree weather early next week. For Stevie Jay Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Solgay.
Accumulation, preservation, generation. At Busey Bank, these are the principles we use to build meaningful financial partnerships with our clients and their families. With sound advice and vast resources, partner with Busey for a personalized approach to your legacy. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Proud to be the official bank of the Fighting Illini. Member FDIC.
I'm Elizabeth McDonald, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Nintendo is now expected to delay its next-generation video game console until next year. There are reports saying Nintendo's telling game publishing partners that the new Switch will be coming out in March 2025 at the earliest. It was expected later this year. China's economic recovery has been disappointing, but there's an encouraging sign that travel is picking up there. Reports in China say domestic tourism trips during the 8-day Lunar New Year break were up more than 34% from a year ago. The movie business is off to a slow start this year. The Wall Street Journal says ticket sales are down 15% from a year ago, despite more movies in theaters than last year. Wall Street has the day off for the President's Day holiday. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jenny Coselda, invested in you.
I'm Dana Perino, co-host of The Five and co-anchor of America's Newsroom. Join me for my brand new podcast, Perino on Politics. Every Monday, I'm going to talk to people I trust in politics as they tell me what they're seeing and thinking in the 2024 election cycle.
President Biden isn't getting any younger and is becoming more apparent to voters across the country. This week, I'm joined by Republican strategist and Vice President at Targeted Victory, Matt Gorman, as we discuss how these issues are playing out in the primary field. Available now on FoxNewsPodcasts.com.
Are you tired of shivering in the winter? Look no further than your local heroes at ABC Heating and Air Conditioning. Hi, this is Gina inviting you to give us a call at 217-352-5400 to book your appointment to make sure your furnaces run safely and efficiently this winter. We've been proudly locally owned and operated and have been serving our community for over 50 years. ABC, always be comfortable. Call me 217-352-5400 to book your appointment today or go to abcheatingandac.com.
Get the roof your home deserves by Roof Doctors, your residential roofing specialist that has always offered the best warranties in the industry, like our non-prorated 50-year warranty. Our customers love that we are family-owned and locally operated. We make our customer needs our top priority. With over 30 years experience and the best customer service, give Roof Doctors a call today for your free estimate at 328-7529. In your community and for your community, Roof Doctors.
All right, 7:23 in Champaign-Urbana. I am Stevie Jay. Diane Ducey.
Good morning.
We got a Stever today, the program where I give you my money and you keep the stuff. It's from Interstate Batteries. And as cold as it's been, we got a weekend of winter.
Yes, we did.
Now, you had the polar plunge.
I did, and thank you to the 239 people freezing for a reason and jumping into the Lake of the Woods on Saturday. At least it was nice and sunny. They had the warming tents there to switch out their outfit, although I had some of the St. Thomas Knights of Columbus tell me, not so warm on the warming tent.
Yeah.
But, of course, you just switch out into dry clothes, and then you come into the pavilion, and Texas Roadhouse had a nice lunch for us. That's the part that I emceed. I wasn't doing much on the lake, but brave souls and over $62,000 coming in for our Special Olympians in Region I. So people can still keep giving with a simple online search, and it's polarplungeillinois.com or something like that.
Again, a weekend of winter, but now we're good.
Absolutely.
Temperatures are looking good, touching 50s here coming up, and all this will melt. Whatever is left. Anyway, but your battery, you probably noticed that, I haven't changed my car battery in, 4 years. Interstate says that you got to have a new battery every 4 years. So I'm giving out new car batteries. If you want a car, truck, or van battery, I'm giving you a $150 voucher toward that. And that's at Interstate Batteries. They're outrageously dependable. And you can go see Mark or Mike Martinez. You can go there on North Madison as you're driving toward the High School St. Thomas.
2504 North Madison, Champaign.
Right over, you get over the overpass. It's on the right-hand side, and you can go there and get a new battery, and it's like lickety-split.
And if you
20
think,
minutes.
I need to get a test done, I'm not sure if it needs, they can take care of all of that. And they really are great on customer service.
So that's what you get today. It's at GoStever.com. Thousands of you have joined this club because you get free stuff. So today it's a vehicle battery, and they're good. So if you go to GoStever.com, you can get that, and good luck to you. There'll be a drawing tonight. You'll get an email if you're one of our coveted winners, and then you'll have a week to get in there and get it done. So GoStever.com, Interstate Batteries, outrageously dependable.
Yeah, if you haven't been out there before, this is a good time to experience them. They've been open since 1998.
Got to call San Diego here in a moment. The lack of critical thinking in our society today is scary. It's coming from University of San Diego professor Patrick Hurley.
Okay.
86% of American adults think the general public doesn't have enough critical thinking skills. And recent LA Times story outlining the way Americans have normalized lying, gobbling up any and all claims, founded or unfounded. Question is, do we believe everything we hear or read on the internet?
I see.
So we'll talk to a guy who's taught logic and philosophy at the University of San Diego. I have no idea where he's coming from the point of view. I think that you really need to go deeper, but one side thinks the other lies all the time, and one side thinks the other lies all the time. So it's wherever you're coming from, you're a liar.
Right.
And just go, hold on now, and you have to really go deeper into what you're being fed, because
as far as the fact checking and things like that,
I don't know.
Even on that, how do you know that what you're seeing or that what was posted is correct?
Fact checkers sometimes are biased too.
Right.
So it depends on your point of view on a lot of this and perspective, and then actual facts. It's very difficult to get to the bottom line because we used to trust the media.
Right. And it used to be that there was journalism, but now it's more editorializing.
There's definitely some journalists, but it's less automatic. There's definitely bias. It's less automatic. You can certainly find good reporters everywhere, but it's not them making the call on certain stories. It's the people above them.
That's right. The
choosing.
news director might have a slant and a lean and assign you to certain stories and skip stories that might really have some truth to it.
Well, we'll get into this here in just a few moments.
Okay.
And talk with this guy who's out in San Diego, so it'll be nice and early. I presume he'll have his coffee.
I heard the comment, I think it was at All Out Acapella Unity on Friday night, that people were talking about some of the driving skills. And, of course, we're coming into a fresh snow and things like that. And somebody made the comment of the kids these days, they're learning their driving skills from Grand Theft Auto. How do we do this?
Yeah.
I'm like, wow,
They go a little fast in Grand Theft Auto.
I know they do.
It's probably not a good idea. Problems with your current copier vendor regarding service, you can call Greg Wolf, Watts Copy Systems, 217-352-0428, where service is more than a promise. A locally owned, family-owned, and employee-owned Illinois business. It's Watts Copy Systems. Minor League Baseball begins this weekend, believe it or not.
Wow.
So the Cardinals and the Cubs, will have both of them on our stations. The Cubs, of course, live at US 105.9. Cardinals live right here where you're listening, ESPN 93.5. But we'll have some of the weekend games coming up.
Okay.
And so it'll be good to hear the sound of baseball.
Yes.
So that'll be awesome.
March 28th, MLB out of the gate.
Yep, 7:28. This is a familiar sound in Illinois.
Arctic cold snap grappling with heavy snowfall while bracing themselves for a significant winter storm.
The snow will come, but you need to go to work, to school, to the store, to care for family. When the weather's rough, you need a vehicle that's tough. Sarah of Champaign wants to put you in an Outback, Forester, Crosstrek, or Ascent. There are so many reasons why a Subaru SUV is the best vehicle to drive during winter months. Standard symmetrical all-wheel drive, vehicle dynamics control, 8.7 inches of ground clearance, and available X mode for when the snow is extra deep. That adds up to performance and safety. Don't wait for the next storm warning. If you have to get where you're going, no matter the weather, see the huge selection and great deals at Sarah Subaru today. Route 45 in Savoy, or online at sarahsubaruchampaign.com.
I'm Justin Ike, co-owner of Fred's Plumbing, Heating, Air Conditioning, Electric, and Underground.
So, Justin, tell me what you see as typical when it comes to sewer repair. Give me a scenario.
Your sewer's backed up and somebody comes along and says, you need this repair for X amount of dollars. Here's my price. And you don't think to go looking for another company or a second opinion because you don't feel like you have time.
So is it possible that you might get charged a little more because it's kind of a desperate moment? Do some companies do that?
Oh, absolutely they will. They know you're in a pinch. Typically, if you call us, me or Will can be out there within an hour to look at that problem for you. Whether you call me first or you call me second, make sure you give me a call.
Anything else, Justin?
You can always trust Fred's.
Great to know. Thank you. That's Justin Ike, the co-owner of Fred's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, Electric, and Underground. If you want more information about this great 45-year family-owned company, just go to fredscu.com. That's fredscu.com.
Hi, I'm Tyler Weaver, president of Carpet Weaver's Flooring and Furniture Gallery. Take a look around your home. Is it finally ready for some much-needed updates? If you don't know where to start, then just meet with one of our experts. We'll help you find the perfect waterproof plank floor for your kitchen or that stain-resistant, super soft carpet for your bedroom. Finish your room update with a custom sofa and chairs, or choose a trendy in-stock dining set that's priced right. Come home to Carpet Weavers, where floors, furniture, and family meet.
Fox News, I'm CJ. Papa flags at half-staff in Minnesota this morning honoring two Burnsville police officers and a fire department paramedic shot dead.
According to police, an unnamed armed man was barricaded inside a home with family members, including 7 children between the ages of 2 and 15. Now, city officials say the situation, quote, escalated into gunfire after law enforcement arrived.
Fox's Todd Pyro, the gunman, was later found dead. The kids were not hurt. Some Democrats want President Biden to forget about a run for a second term.
If Biden were to step down, it's not without precedent. LBJ famously declared in an address to the nation on March 31st, 1968, I shall not seek and I will not accept the nomination of my party for another term as your president. The new Monmouth poll shows nearly half the country thinks Biden will be replaced as a Democratic
Fox's
nominee.
Lucas Tomlinson. America's listening to Fox News.
Here's a look at local news. Well, following the death of Brandon Hardway, victim of the shooting outside the Poor Brothers Tap Room on February 8th, Champaign police reclassified the investigation as a homicide case. Police officials say the investigation indicates 24-year-old Fidel Shaminga of Urbana shot Hardway before fleeing the scene. He's awaiting trial. Some people living in Urbana concerned about the possibility of a solar farm coming in the area. Champaign County Department of Planning and Zoning proposed the 60-acre site earlier this year. It would see 2 sections of solar panels installed near the area of East Windsor and South High Cross Roads. Springfield man sentenced to 20 years in prison for his role in a drug conspiracy involving over a dozen defendants and over 200 pounds of drugs. Federal prosecutors from the Central District of Illinois said 5 people already sentenced for their roles in the conspiracy. Last week, 32-year-old Denzel Witherspoon became the 6th in this particular case. That's what's happening. You're up to date from the Stevie Jay Broadcasting Newsroom. I'm Jim Miller.
Thank you, Jim. Time for weather, brought to you this morning by Carl.
Carl works every day to improve the health of community members across the region. If you're looking for an opportunity to serve others in a supportive environment, visit carl.org/careers.
Low again every one. Let's check weather for East Central Illinois, Champaign and Benton vicinity. Yeah, the look and feel for a change of midwinter time across the area, coming off anywhere between 3 and 5 inches of snow across the area, much lesser to the north and northwest. Some spots down towards Effingham at 7.5, and a couple of reports of thunder down there on Friday's snow event. Well, plenty of belting and thawing this afternoon of the same with a sunny sky. Southwest to south breezes will be light and high to about 41. Not so cold tonight, but certainly plenty of that melt water will firm on up. Maybe an area of frost and freeze that will accrete on some of the colder surfaces as well. Perhaps some patchy frost as we get to it, and a low down to 26 tomorrow. Mostly sunny and 48. South winds pick on up. We'll stay above freezing here for tomorrow night, and a breezy and milder Wednesday at 57. Bit of rain and 52 on Thursday. So the end of the week still early spring-like. Slight cooling for the weekend in the 40s, 50s next Sunday, 60s next week. For Stevie Jay Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Solgay.
Thank you, Greg. Appreciate it. ESPN 93.5. Dr. Patrick Hurley, professor, University of San Diego, California, where it is now 5:34. Should I not told you that, Patrick? It's early.
Yeah, it's pretty early.
Yeah, well, thanks for waking up, doing these hits. We appreciate it very much. Isn't San Diego the airport where you kind of feel like you're landing on the water and then a runway shows up? Is that San Diego?
That's exactly what it is. You come down lower than the buildings downtown, so they look down on you, which is kind of scary.
Man, oh man. Okay, well, my daughter and my wife are landing there this Saturday, so I'll tell them that it look like water. Yeah.
Try to arrange some good weather.
Yeah, all right. Well, the weather's been, 60s out there, right? Pretty good.
I think it's 53 right now.
All right, that's a little cold for you, you thin-skinned people.
It'll warm up, though.
Dr. Patrick, are you from there?
Well, I've been here for 50 years, so most have been here.
I guess you're kind of from there, yeah. Okay, Dr. Patrick Hurley, we're talking about critical thinking. Does the truth matter anymore? The normalization of lying and loss of critical thinking. What's happened? How do you explain the evolution of, you go to the mall and show a picture of Kamala Harris and probably nobody knows who that is? I just don't know what's happened as far as information and all the sources that we have at our hand, in the palm of our hand.
Yes. Well, something even weirder about Kamala Harris, there's a rumor going around right now that she breathes oxygen through gills. Well, I don't know what these people are trying to do. Maybe they're trying to convert the poor woman into a fish. But the trouble is there's just no evidence for this nonsense, you know?
Yeah. So what's your recommendation? How can people drill down and really kind of do their own fact-checking?
Well, one thing, I think you have to wake up. You know, you have to stop being an intellectual garbage disposal. You have to do a little work. You can't just take stuff at face value. You have to look into it. You have to do a little research. You have to think to see if it makes sense. And, you know, those are the minimal things, you know. So if people would only do that, about 90% of the nonsense that passes, you know, for wisdom these days, or all the crazy conspiracy theories that are running around, we wouldn't have them, you know.
Let's delve into that a second. So when I was in college, I would go to the library and actually pull some books out, write papers, trying to, get different sources in the papers I was writing. Now it's just all on screens. It's a lot of, copy and paste. And your brain isn't, analyzing all this information doing that, Patrick.
Well, that's true, but that doesn't mean that you should just simply give up. Go back to the drawing board, do a little work, do a little thinking, I mean, Kamala Harris breathes through guilt. All you have to do is think for two seconds about that.
Well, I'm here to tell you she doesn't breathe through gills, so we can dispel that one. But there are things out there that are pretty far-fetched that I guess people grab hold of, huh?
Oh, there certainly are. And one of the things that I'm interested in exploring right now is the possible extent that religion might have something to do with it. This may come as a shock, but critical thinking means basing all of our beliefs, or at least as many of them as we can, basing them on evidence. But religion is based on faith, and faith means accepting things without evidence. So could it possibly be the case that religious faith is at odds with critical thinking? I don't know. What do you think about that?
Well, I think that certainly faith is based on believing what you cannot see. However, there's plenty to see here, and I think that the people in faith, generally speaking, are a little more trusting, perhaps. Maybe they want to believe in our government, want to believe in our media. They want to think that what they say is true, and when it's not, then we lose faith in the foundation of the government of the United States.
Well, that's a possible result. That's true. So what do you do? I mean, it really presents a problem.
Well, because there are things out there that says Kamala breathes through gills. So I mean, you have to be able to sort. And I guess again, if we don't spend time doing it, how good will we be at it? I mean, you have to practice stuff like that, right?
Yeah, we do. Well, one thing that people might do is take a course in critical thinking. Learn something about the informal fallacies. I mean, these are common mistakes that people make, every day. And if you know what they are, you're less likely to make them yourself, and you're more likely to detect them when other people make them. But you also, might look, if you're heavily influenced by religion, you might take a look at religion. You might read a book on that. And that's where my own most recent publication comes in. It's called Religion, Power, and Illusion, A Genealogy of Religious Belief. And if you're interested in looking into it, you might check out my website. It's patrickcurleyauthor.com. The website's all about the book. Anyway, you'll learn a lot about religion and where religion came from. I mean, that I think is really important.
Well, I think too, it's going to come down to what you're going to believe the Bible. I happen to believe the Bible. I believe the New Testament. I believe in it deeply. I believe there's signs of that all the time. But again, that's me, and that's what you do when you have faith and you believe that. There is a peace that comes with that, and then hopefully you can see the world. Because I think, honestly, too, another part of this, Patrick, could be that we came out of COVID with a lot of mental health issues. So maybe you don't see it quite the way you ought to see it, and it doesn't make sense the way you see it. But you believe it's right, and the other people are crazy. So it's hard to sort out. We can't be isolated. Isolation is bad for the human.
True, and that's exactly where COVID came in. It isolated people. So they're not talking to other people. They're not seeing that there are other points of view, that you can come at these issues, from different directions. And maybe we'll go back to normal. I hope so. But we're still suffering the after effects of the COVID pandemic.
I fear, however, I think there's and again, this is, I hope it's doesn't sound too bad. I think that there's a great deal of uninformed people that go to the ballot box. I don't know if they just, again, it's back to the critical thinking thesis and saying, well, okay, we got to learn that everything you read and see isn't necessarily going to. Now, if you see it with your own eyes, you can certainly say that doesn't mix with what they're saying. You certainly could do that. I mean, there are some very blatant things that are said that just aren't true.
Well, that's absolutely true. And if you would just trust what you see, and what you think about it, you'll be a long ways ahead.
Yeah.
But when you accept stuff, just without any eye to criticizing at all, that's where you're inevitably going to run into trouble, I think.
How many years you've been teaching?
Well, at the University of San Diego, I was there for 35 years and 5 years at other places.
So you and I are contemporaries, I think, Patrick. So we could both say, "Get off my lawn." I mean, it probably makes so we can both say. And listen, the 18 to 24 has changed since you started your career back in the day, right? I mean, a lot.
Oh my God! One of the reasons why I decided to get out of teaching when I did, I retired at the full retirement age. But anyway, these kids were bringing all these kinds of electronic contraptions into class, and I didn't know where they were getting the answers to tests. Was somebody feeding these answers to them from outside the classroom? I have no idea.
Yeah.
And I still don't know, and it's getting worse.
Well, and
worse now.
think about your copy and paste on the AI stuff, too. I can go to Chatbox and write a 5-page a paper on critical thinking without writing a 5-page paper. Get off my lawn, man. Exactly. Get off my lawn. Go to the library, man.
That's so true. Artificial intelligence is going to have an incredible impact on college and university education. And these people in the universities are just barely coming to grips with it now. And boy, they're facing a huge problem. There's no question about it.
Well, Antonia texted in, if 86% of us can't think critically, how do we trust that poll?
Well, but that's critical thinking to ask about the poll.
There you go.
Go check the methodology and see who they talk to. All that other stuff. So
that's so true. Well, here's the thing. So often we are led astray by our emotions, and any time that emotion goes toe-to-toe with reason, usually, I hate to say this, but usually emotion wins the battle.
No.
So we have to keep our emotions in check. We have to make sure that we know where they're taking us and make sure they're not taking us down the primrose path.
It'd be nice to do that without violence as well, right? I mean, it'd be nice to be able to discuss stuff, but it seems like we're doing a lot of shouting in each other's faces. There's no doubt about that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that impedes conversation, and it impedes, seeing things from different angles.
Yep.
So there you have it.
Professorial conversation this morning, Dr. Patrick Hurley, who taught for over 40 years. What's the name of your book, and how can we connect with you?
It's called Religion, Power, and Illusion, A Genealogy of Religious Belief. And if you look at my website, it's patrickhurleyauthor.com. The website's all about the book.
Hey, listen, thanks for waking up early from San Diego, Patrick. Nice meeting you.
Well, thank you very much, and thanks for having me on.
You betcha. Dr. Patrick Hurley on the Tapman's Towing phone line.
Hear the show anytime, StevieJay.com. If you want to rehear a segment.
Yep, there's always that. That's not true. Well, yeah, it is. No, it's not. Yeah, you're a liar. Well, you're a hater. You're a bigot. You're a... Pick the word.
Right.
Okay, it is 7:44. We jump to our morning sports. The Fighting Illini are in their own... They control their destiny. They could be co-champs with Purdue, worst case.
That's right, especially with Ohio State beating number 2 Purdue yesterday, 73-69. I'm hearing that we could at least, if we win out, share a portion of that Big Ten title.
A co-championship. If Purdue doesn't lose and we don't lose, it's a co-championship because we would beat Purdue here, which I think is possible. But there's a lot of basketball. There's 6 games left.
Is.
I mean, we play at Penn State. They've moved the game to an itty bitty little Huff-like gym.
Wednesday at 5:30.
So that's there's that. That's going to be all over us. But again, our veteran team, all of that should help. But that's going to be a tough environment. Coach Underwood has never played in the Rec. It's like the Impey building, or the Arc, I guess. Anyway, it's Huff. Just think of Huff. It's got 2,000 more seats in Huff, but it's small, it's cozy, and that's what we got Wednesday night. Then we host Iowa. Then we host Minnesota. Then we go to Wisconsin. That's near impossible to win at Wisconsin.
Right.
Very, very hard. Then we host Purdue. Then we go to Iowa. If the title's on the line at Iowa at 6 p.m. in Iowa City with 17,000 fans trying to ruin our season, you don't think that's going to be hard?
Man.
So there's a lot of tough ahead, but we beat Maryland. I want to play Kevin Willard, how he took it after the game.
Brad was saying how he thought that Terrence did a pretty good job on Jameer down the stretch. What did you see from that matchup?
Actually, I'll be honest with you. I think Jameer got fouled about 12 times and didn't get a call.
I just find it interesting. Very interesting that he would.
So I think if we're calling fouls down one end, it's got to be the same way. So he did a good job, but you got to call it the same way.
It happens to everybody, Coach. Crying out loud to be. And why the number 12? Why not 14 times? Why not 100 times? Anyway.
Stevie.
I don't think he took it well.
Monday morning, you're being pretty facetious.
Well, I
with
mean,
the baby
he's
sound effect.
yelling about the officiating. That should be a $5,000 fine, shouldn't it?
I saw Coleman get fouled, and he was up in arms again. And just think about how much he does that. Do you think he practices in front of the mirror and stuff? I mean, it's every time.
Yeah, well,
Coleman's never been fouled, man.
No, he's never committed a foul.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah, listen, he plays with a lot of emotion, and we need him. He's pretty darn good. And Terrence Shannon, when he gets out on the fast break,
27 points.
The problem with Terrence Shannon is you can't get in front of him because he is so fast. He is really fast, not just quick. He's fast.
Right.
So when you go and then you look like you're trying to get in his way, he'll cut sideways. He's hard. He'd be a real load to try and stop.
And we love during the drive when Luke Goody comes on with his commentary.
Hey, listen, Luke's struggling. It's a tough one for Luke right now. He's not playing much because every time he's in the game, they isolate on him. Every team, they get a switch where whoever's guarding Luke Goody, they go at him.
Okay.
And he's fouling. He's unable to stop guys. I think he's getting some bad breaks on a couple of things because some of those don't feel like fouls, but he's getting them all called on him now. And so that goes in waves. He's got to hang tough. He's a great young man.
Right.
I'm rooting for Luke. I really like the kid. I think he's really good, but he's clearly in there to make some threes. He has to make threes. He's missed some in the last couple of games. So we're rooting for Luke, but he only played 9 minutes. He wasn't playing much.
Okay.
And it was just you had to play Ty Rodgers. Ty Rodgers was a plus 20.
Rodgers, Justin Harmon, Dane Danger. I mean,
Dane didn't play. Dane played 2 minutes.
Okay.
So we played 6 people. It was a 6-man lineup, and with all our guys playing 38, 39 minutes, that's too many. I think you got to get a little more of trust into these other guys, and they got to play better because I don't know. It's going to be hard to go in March with 6 guys. You got to have 8 or 9. You just got to have more breath for these guys.
Okay, well,
be
thanks
very
for
difficult.
your insight. I know with my all-out acapella and then the bowler plunge, I was kind of napping at the beginning of the game.
How can you nap? I want to tell you, though, I was actually
4:30. I'm like,
I was on the couch, able to watch the whole game.
That's awesome.
Not pacing.
Right.
I thought we were going to win. I just felt we were going to win this game, even though it looked like it was going to get awfully close at the end, and it did. I mean, they cut it to 2, and they were ready to tie it, and all that stuff happened. That critical play where Jameer Young went in, and, of course, the guy thought he got fouled, and it looked like Marcus Damascus went straight up, and then here comes Justin Harmon, grabs the ball all the way down the other court. Down court was Coleman. He got the ball, dunked it, and was fouled. So it went from a potential tie to a 5-point Illinois lead. That's the game.
Okay.
That was it.
So Eastern beats Western 211 to 186 in the NBA All-Star game. A 397-point game. Nobody's playing defense at all.
I could have had 10.
Okay.
I could have had 10.
It's kind of like a Globetrotters game where people are laughing and having fun.
No, I could have had 10 because they would have let me. I mean, I could have made 5 layups.
Okay.
Because they don't really do it. But there were some thunderous dunks. Damian Lillard was the
all-star.
How can you be the MVP of that?
Plus, he won Saturday on the three-point contest.
Well, he made 2 51-foot baskets. He shot 2 balls from half court and swished them both.
Nice.
That's a Globetrotter thing.
That's great.
Curly Neal used to do that in the Globetrotters. But
39 points for the Lillard.
Yeah, well, I mean, the other guy, Towns, he had 50.
Right.
And the other team, I mean, it was like, okay, dunk, 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 three-pointer, dunk, dunk, dunk. Nobody guards anybody, but it was kind of entertaining. The NBA was hoping for more effort. Well, they had fun. Let's have fun. Listen, at this point, when you're getting $50 million to play basketball, are you going to really dig and touch the floor and guard someone? No.
Right. And it's an all-star
It's an exhibition.
game.
Nobody cares.
Nobody wants to get hurt. Let's just let them go.
They talked to some players before the game, and they said, let's just put on a good show.
Okay.
It's not a game. It's a show. It's a Globetrotter thing.
Centennial's Jack Barnhart, state champion, 2A, 285, and for 1A, 190, Hunter Easton from Unity.
How about that?
Had some wrestling going on at the State Farm Center. Saw some different teams around town. I mean, that's an economic boost for us. I love that we welcome over, 670 or something?
72, 672, 250 schools.
Thank you for paying attention during the interview with the tourism folks, Stevie.
And Unity beat the high school St. Thomas More 48-46.
Right.
On Friday. Andrew Tay had 6 3-point baskets.
Oh, Wow.
To carry St. Thomas More to a near upset of Unity.
I was on the other side of the campus in the auditorium. It was quite a crowded back parking lot for us. And,
I bet it was.
And again, with the snowy conditions and things just kind of learning how to do things again, I just felt like I was happy to see so many people out and about supporting the Rockets in any kind of way, of course. And just a really good weekend for everything. Again, the Special Olympians in Region I. My son Aiden was able to get on the mic and say, I really appreciate everybody stepping out and supporting as Special Olympian athletes at the Polar Plunge, too.
Awesome. All right. We have a Stever at Free Car, Truck, or Van Battery. I'm giving $150 vouchers. They're coming out from Interstate Batteries. Mm-hmm. What you'll have to do is go to GoStever.com. If you're not a member, you can sign up and then enter. And then you'll get an email tonight if you're one of our winners. I think I'm doing 6 batteries today.
Okay.
So there's an ample opportunity if you want to try and win a battery, like $150. So all you got to do, GoStever.com to enter. And again, you'll need to get in there within the next 7 days, fill out your survey thoughtfully, carefully, so that Mark Martinez at Interstate Batteries knows how to even get better than they are, which are really good now.
Right. President's Day off today. NASCAR is postponed, so the Daytona 500 is today. And the women's basketball team facing Indiana at 1 in the State Farm Center.
Indiana's real good. I think they're ranked kind of high.
That might be a fun game to watch.
You get all the kids in the buses again. Do that thing.
Yeah.
That'll be awesome.
Tapman's Towing, team of experienced tow professionals, is seeking others with CDLs, previous tow experience, and or strong interest in serving others. Please visit our career page at tapmanstowing.com.
When it comes to finding a reliable vehicle, look no further than Sarah Champagne, your trusted automotive destination. They carry a lineup of top brands, including Honda, BMW, Subaru, GMC, and Buick. And they're not just about cars, they're about people. Their team is dedicated to providing you with trustworthy service and dependable vehicles that fit your lifestyle. Experience the difference at Sarah Champagne. Visit Sarah, S-E-R-R-A, champagne.com.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for East Central Illinois, Champaign, and Ben Nevis Saturday. Nice one ahead. Holiday for some coming off late last week's snow and very cold weather over the weekend. It's back into perhaps a more or less spring-like feel around these parts as the week wears on, and another run of extended early spring-like weather for next week. Sunny turning out. It's cold later this afternoon. Light southeast to south wind will become southwest, and highs topping out around 41. For tonight, partly cloudy skies, not so cold either. Lows down to 26, light south wind for the day tomorrow, mostly sunny, 48 in the afternoon as south breezes pick up. We'll level off into the 30s tomorrow night, heading towards the 50s, 57 on Wednesday, with a mostly sunny, breezy, milder day. Be a bit of rain with temperatures up to 52 on Thursday, slight cooling over the course of Friday and Saturday, but still above average at 45 on Friday, a Saturday high of 47, or back into the 50s on Sunday, 60-degree weather early next week. For Stevie Jay Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Solgay.
Tim Onstadt. So, dedicated diesel Dixie chopper will be mowing probably in a month. What do you got? Any Dixie choppers to talk about?
Oh, yeah. She apparently likes presidents better than she likes love, because she came in and said, hey, the rest of this week and next week for President's Day, $1,000 off any mower.
What?
Go see Andy, 1313 Triumph Drive in Urbana, or give him a call at 217-328-0562 and tell him Donna said to give you $1,000 off any mower.
The heck kind of power is that? That's kind of cool. Wow. He just comes in and says that.
Go ahead, Donna.
Wow, way to go, Donna. Mm-hmm. Okay, so what we're doing at Gale Forex Trucking?
We're doing good. I've got 2 open spots for good company drivers for regional. We had 2 guys that apparently have done well enough that decided to buy their own trucks and lease on as owner-operators, so that opens up 2 company spots for us.
Wow. Gale Forex Trucking, what's your email?
Contact me at timo@gftlog.com.
Yeah, good man there. Tim Onstadt. We're working out where he's going to come, and I think I've told the boys this yet. He's going to come March 27 and do a practice. He's like the best brisket maker really in the ever. He does these competitions, and with the big time guys he beat them, and he got a perfect score in the brisket. So he's going to come do a practice smoke here.
Yes.
And so we're trying to work it out outside here.
Kind of thinking right before MLB begins, Wednesday the 27th of March.
28 is opening game, but the Cardinals will be on in the afternoon. Boys won't be on, so we want the boys to be here so they can eat. And I don't think they'll turn that away, I'm guessing. Got to catch Lon in town. So there's that.
So we have some things we need to work out before we make the big announcements.
We're working
in
on
other
that.
words.
And then the Cardinal bus trip has kind of hit a snag. I couldn't find a bus, believe it or not.
See.
For May 22, there was another bus I could get. And then the Cardinals do this affiliate thing where all the radio stations that carry the Cardinals got to go down for a special 2 days. That's the same darn time. So that means I'd be out of the bus trip, which hate to do that. So we're looking at the whole thing. But so we're working on it. But they're less day games.
What if we still got a suite? Is the suite available still on that day?
Haven't checked the
Was
list.
it May 22nd?
May 22nd was trying to go to Baltimore Cardinals.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then, because it was so popular that day that we were divided and there was rain coming in. So we pulled over at the nearby casino and some of the people said, let's go home. And some of the people said, let's do it. And then we just hopped on the subway and we're dropped off right at Bush.
Well, we're not doing that. I mean, we're going to just take the bus park.
Maybe we could all just, everybody get themselves there. And then I'll pass out the tickets in the casino lobby.
It's not a bus trip. Okay,
I'm
we're
just
going to
trying
St.
to
Louis.
adapt.
You drive, and I'll meet you. Where do I park? I don't know.
My mom, Betty Ducey, used to always say, there's always a way, Stevie.
Well,
so that's what I was doing right now with my brainstorming.
But
let's just meet down there.
Anyway, no, it's a good idea. Just that
saves us some money on the bus.
Can't call it a bus trip,
right?
But yeah, I'll see you guys down there. Well, where we're meeting? I thought you said the other end. I like where I spend all the money and then I get a really close parking spot.
Yes,
that's just better.
And then people, can have all they can eat and drink, and then they have a bus ride home to nap on the way home or whatever.
And the coolest thing is that it's just so easy, and yet the more difficult thing is if you want to go on a weekday, there are not very many weekdays. They play night games now.
Because we like the 12:30, 1 o'clock start.
Nobody wants to come home in the dark.
We want to leave at 8 and be home at 8.
7. Yeah. we like it easy. So, and then if I go on the weekend, it's more money.
We have a formula.
No, it's like really pampered.
Mm-hmm.
So we're working on it, and I'll let you guys know. I know that we have 10 or 20 that are going no matter what. The price of the bus this year to last year is going to be different. It's like $600 more. I got to charge all that. So my goal here is to
keep it under $250, just a hair.
Yeah, trying, because it's $250. Yeah, it's sweet. So all the food and drinks are included. Everybody seemed to like that. But it's amazing how challenging it is to just make a little bus trip go. But prices they've just gone up. Everything's higher. If you haven't noticed. It's like crime.
Right.
Go to the store, buy 4 things. It was $40 kind of. It's just nuts. All right, we're coming back. Another hour to go. We are going to link up with our friend Trey Yinks. He's on the ground in Israel. We've had him on before. It's pretty compelling. Mm-hmm. Where's all that going?
Right.
It's just hard to imagine that so much involved in all this. And if you're trying to eliminate Hamas and Hamas is trying to eliminate Israel, in other words, you die. Otherwise, nothing. There's no compromise. It's just you die.
President's Day on the February 19th, and we've got some sunshine today with a high around 42, according to our meteorologist Greg Soye, and warmer. I mean, we're close to 60 on Wednesday.
No, I love it. So all the stuff you see on the ground is going away. Mm-hmm. All right, we'll be right back. Break for the news. Coming back another hour. It's ESPN 93.5 on this Monday. It's 8 o'clock. You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
It's frankly obnoxious. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That is what Russian officials are saying about claims from President Biden and many others worldwide that opposition leader Alexei Navalny was murdered.
Yulia Navalny says Vladimir Putin killed her husband Alexei because he couldn't break him. The Russian president's highest profile opponent died last week at an Arctic penal colony. In a video on social media, Navalny promises to continue her husband's work. The activist's body is still not being handed over to his family.
That's Fox's Jonathan Savage. Hundreds of people have been detained in Russia for paying tribute at public memorial sites to Navalny. Flowers and photos confiscated. In the war in Ukraine, Russia has completed a takeover of a city in the east. Nikki Haley, the former U.S. ambassador to the UN running for president, tells Fox.
Russia's sitting there doing things. They're now surrounding the Baltics, which if they go and invade the Baltics, Those are NATO countries that puts America at war. We have to prevent war. We've got China doing these cyber attacks. We're seeing all of these things happen, and Trump's doing late night rants about his court cases.
Well, despite her ongoing Trump criticism, the former president leads Haley by 20 to 30 points in recent South Carolina polls ahead of Saturday's Republican primary there. It's up to more than 29,000 Palestinians dead in the war in Gaza, where the Hamas-run health ministry says most of them are women and children, as Israel prepares a new operation to take out more militants.
We're getting a better idea of when Israel's military could launch its ground operations in Gaza's crowded Rafah city. An Israeli war cabinet member is threatening the military invasion will happen by March 10th. Unless Hamas frees its remaining hostages.
Fox's Ashley Strohmeyer flags at half-staff in Minnesota in tribute to the 2 police officers and fire paramedics shot and killed in Burnsville.
Our families, all of our staff, our community, we're heartbroken.
America's listening to Fox News.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Hey, you're up next.
My throat hurts so bad. There's no way I can sing tonight.
Here, try these.
Vicks VapoCool Drops.
Yeah, Vicks VapoCool Drops has maximum strength menthol with a rush of Vicks vapors.
Ooh, I can already feel it.
I told you. So, you ready?
I'm ready.
Please welcome to the stage.
Vaporize sore throat pain fast with Vicks VapoCool Drops.
Well, days after the death of Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny, there's a push in Congress by some to take action.
Senate Republican Lindsey Graham of South Carolina said on CBS Face the Nation he believes there could be legislation put forward this week to declare Russia a state sponsor of terrorism. Senator Graham says the designation would be a game changer.
Let's make them pay a price for killing Navalny. It would allow the Navalny family to go to U.S. court and sue Putin's Russia for killing of their loved one.
While many world leaders say they believe Russian President Vladimir Putin somehow was involved in Navalny's death, the Russian government says it is still investigating. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
It is quiet on Wall Street. The opening bell will not ring this hour. No trading because of President's Day. No mail delivery today either. Oppenheimer wins some more.
This is a national emergency. We're in a race against the Nazis.
More pre-Oscar awards. The movie got 7 BAFTAs, British Academy Film Awards, including Best Picture, Best Director Christopher Nolan, and Best Actor Cillian Murphy. Poor Things won 5 awards, including Emma Stone for Best Actress. Barbie, though, was shut out despite 5 nominations. The Oscars, they'll be awarded March 10th. In theaters this weekend, a new movie takes the top spot.
Bob Marley, One Love, outperforms expectations at the weekend box office, debuting in first place with a $27.7 million opening weekend.
Don't let them fool you. It's a hit. Oh, no.
Reggae is the people music.
You know you're a superstar.
I am a superstar.
Kingsley Ben-Adir stars as the reggae superstar. Sony's Madam Web coming in second place with a $15.2 million opening weekend. Critics are calling it disappointing for a Spider-Man spin-off. Argyle falls to third place.
That's Kathleen Maloney. I'm Dave Anthony, and this is Fox News.
Here's a look at local news. Champaign firefighters called out for a garage fire Saturday night. A neighbor alerting the fire department in that garage in the 1600 block of Williamsburg Drive. Smoke and fire coming from the attached garage of a single-story home. Crews able to contain it. The cause is under investigation. So people living in Urbana concerned about the possibility of a solar farm coming to the area. Champaign County Department of Planning and Zoning proposed the 60-acre site earlier this year. It would see 2 sections of solar panels installed near the area of East Windsor and South South High Cross roads. Starting spring across the Midwest, 2 broods of cicadas, 13 and 17-year-old emergent cycles, will resurface at the same time in a unit that hasn't happened in over 2 centuries. This year, cicadas will both begin to emerge in both Illinois and the southeastern U.S. Both of these populations surface in parts of southern and northern Illinois. Those old cicadas, and remember that sound. How about that? You're up to date from the Stevie Jay Broadcasting Newsroom. I'm Joe Miller.
Didn't People's Choice Awards, Solier, do you know anything about the People's Choice Award? Anything at all? Anything? I know nothing about the People's Choice Awards. Solier, do you have any idea what the People's Choice Awards is?
It's an award show for people.
That's exactly what I would have said.
There we go.
That's exactly what I would have said.
That's my first and only guess.
I think it's kind of the precursor to the Academy Awards, which, and again, this is like an age thing. I mean, and the fact that, what stars now, back in the day, I think, back in the day when I walked barefoot to class in the snow against the wind. I mean, back in the...
You sound like me. You really do. You really sound like me.
But there were huge stars that maybe we admired more.
Well, Jennifer Aniston wins for drama TV star. Adam Sandler got the People's Choice Icon Award. He thought he had the Sexiest Man Alive award, and so he said, my speech is wrong. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, there's the whole level. I think it may be because all the actors and actresses kind of got political. Instead of saying kind of, I'm an actor and I want to just craft in my own mind.
They kind of get up there and make a statement, don't they?
Yeah, and you just, and then you turn off half the country. So there you go. All right, but whatever happened, People's Choice Awards, it'll happen probably kind of like it. I think Oppenheimer's winning a lot of awards.
Barbie, probably, right?
Probably Barbie's in there.
There we go.
And then whatever Taylor Swift's doing, I'd pick her.
Well, the Icon Award went to Lenny Kravitz, and I enjoyed seeing his little performance and all that. He's great. So there's that.
Okay. Our weather brought to you by Kurt Lenschow. He's over at State Farm Insurance. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. We're showing our age, Mr. Solier, when we're like, huh? What's up, man?
Who? Yeah? What?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Well, a lot of those award shows, after about 8 o'clock, I'm pretty much just face down everywhere. So
yeah, well, it goes till like 11:30. So yeah.
Wow.
All right, so we got mild. All that little snow that's left is going away.
Yeah, it's going away. It will have equated to about 1/10 to a little less than 1/3 of an inch of rainfall, if you want to put it in that kind of context. If you add in about 7.5 inches at Effingham, 3 to 4. Willard had, I think, about 5.5. There was about 3 to 5 over around the Danville area as well. But that too shall pass, as in the melting and the thawing and the moisture of the ground. And outside of a little anemic system here for Thursday, it's basically either a late winter, early spring feel, or just a dead-on spring feel around here, particularly as we get in through next week and welcome in the new month of March and meteorological springtime. So hang in there at 19 at Willard and Savoy, 18 over at Rantoul. But these teens are pretty much what you expect for a mid to late February day. Sunny, not as cold this afternoon, melting and thawing off the old gutter and drip line in the old ag world at about a 41 degree high. A bit of a southwest to south breeze on the light side. So not a bad Monday, a holiday for some. Partly cloudy, 26 tonight. Mostly sunny, south wind picks up tomorrow on 48. 57 lovely degrees on Wednesday. We're just getting warmed up there and getting started. A little bit of rain here for the day Thursday at 52. Slightly cooler air keeping us in the 40s Friday and Saturday. Here come the 50s back in on Sunday. Here come the 60s for next week. For Steve J. Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Soldier.
All right, it is 10 after ESPN 93.5. We're going to catch up with Trey Yingst. He's the guy on the ground for Fox News Television and radio in Israel. So he's all about the Gaza Strip. He knows everything about it, and he's been down there over there for a long, long time since it started. And he says that's my job. And so what's happening? Because again, when this horrific attack happened October 7, right? When they murdered babies. I mean, all these things horrible. Mm-hmm. Massacre of what? 1,000, 2,000 Israelis? And so the edict was, we have to eliminate Hamas. How do you eliminate Hamas? They just keep coming. And the little boys that are 8 years old want to be Hamas. And a whole bunch of Palestinians are supportive of Hamas. A whole bunch probably aren't. But they're kind of where they are. And it was with reluctance what they opened borders in Egypt, they let some in. Anyway, how do you fix this when both sides, their plan is you got to all die?
This is day 136.
If the goal is, here's our negotiation. You die, then there's peace. No, you die, and then there's peace. So it never ends.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what Trey Yink says at the bottom of the hour. I can't play Kevin Willard again. Just really like that cut. The coach at Maryland.
You can play it.
Yammered about the officiating, which I think is... Brad Underwood comes to the press... Most times he says, in fact, I think all times he says, give credit to Michigan State.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not easy for a uber massive competitive man.
Yeah.
And he's very gracious and he doesn't go crazy. Probably because he doesn't want to be fined. But when Kevin Willard started crying about the fouls, I mean, I'm not sure what the total fouls were. We went to the line more, but they don't have Terrence Shannon. Terrence Shannon drives to the basket and gets fouled. That's what you want to do. You want guys that go to the basket that can get fouled. There was Marcus Damas got absolutely careened and made the basket, but he got fouled. It should have been and one, nothing called. So there were plenty. The game was way too rough because it lasted 2.5 hours plus. It was just really a long game. So I'm going to look up how many fouls are called on each.
Okay.
I think more were called on Maryland because we go to the basket. Sometimes that's true that we go to the basket more than they did. But he was all crying about that. I don't take kindly to bad sportsmanship, Kevin.
Brad was saying how he thought that Terrence did a pretty good job on Jameer down the stretch. What did you see from that matchup?
Actually, I'll be honest with you. I think Jameer got fouled about 12 times and didn't get a call. So I think if we're calling fouls down one end, it's got to be the same way. So he did a good job, but you got to call it the same way.
Yeah, about 50 fouls were called. I don't know what the breakout is, but we had a lot of guys 3 or 4 fouls too. They had a bunch of guys with 5. They had 4 guys with 4 fouls at one time. That is an example of never shoot the 3-point shot when you got 4 guys with 4 fouls, because go to the basket, somebody's going to foul out. So keep it going. Anyway, he went on and was talking about, how's this and this and this injury and this. Okay. Easy, buddy. You've just creamed us. I mean, we hadn't beat them out there since 2011.
2011.
Brad had never won in that facility. So that's the last one. Off the checklist. Let's hear from Brad Underwood about all of that stuff after Illinois beats Maryland. Very big basketball game. And in light of Purdue losing to Ohio State, man, anything can happen in the Big Ten.
Great atmosphere, great crowd, 18,000, everything that, you can't forget that even though Kevin's, they got off to a tough start, this is a really good basketball team that was picked at the top of our league and had 2 first-team All-League players. And so that team, as Kevin's done an unbelievable job, and that team's responded in a really positive way, and their young kids are continuing to grow. So really proud of our group. Great environment, had to make plays, had to make winning plays. I thought the play Marcus Damas made late didn't foul. Then it was the outlet pass to Justin, to Coleman, and big momentum play in the game. But I thought the job Terrence Shannon Jr. did late defensively, that's the Terrence Shannon that we know and love. On the defensive side, 4 blocks. Jameer got his. We knew he was going to take close to 25 shots, and he makes 8 of them. And I thought Terrence did a great job on him late, and then Marcus on the glass. I thought Ty's performance was spectacular, plus 20 and plus minus some minutes on the court. Not as big a game for Coleman in terms of scoring the basketball, but he had a stretch there in the middle of the second half that I thought was huge. So all in all, really pleased. Finally nice I can check this one off. One place I hadn't won was here. It feels good to be able to do that.
So I see Illinois shot 32 of 36 from the free throw line as a team.
Well, we got more.
That is a lot of free throws.
Well, but the discrepancy was we had 22 fouls called on us. They had 25 fouls called on them.
Okay.
With the Terrence Shannon factor, that's not unbelievable at all. So it wasn't you got fouled every time they didn't call. You got 22 fouls called against us. And we had 25 because we had Terrence Shannon go to the basket more. Easy.
Yeah, it says Illinois posted a 19-2 edge in fast break points.
Easy, Kev. Easy.
He forgot about that.
Yeah.
And this is a high-scoring game for Maryland, I guess, too. That was 85 points is the most ever in a game at Maryland, surpassing 71 points scored in that 2011 victory.
We have a very good basketball team. We do. I don't know what that means in March, but we have a very good basketball team that's these games are going to be normal. Somewhere in the tournament, if you win any games at all, you're going to have to win a game like that where it's really, oh, my God, oh, no. And, yeah, we won that thing.
Yep.
Just maybe more than one. But generally the national champion, and it's possible, but I would really like to get to the second weekend. That means win 2. That would be really a successful year for me to get to the second weekend. And then you just see what happens from there. But it's just hard. Everybody got good. The 16 can beat the 1 as they did with Purdue last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Purdue, if you figure out Zach Edey in any form at all, which I thought Ohio State did a pretty good job with.
Right. 73-69 winners over number 2 Purdue.
And for whatever reason, the guards for Purdue didn't have a very good game. They had 14 turnovers, which is really a lot in the game. Purdue's lost, 3 games, 4 games? Not much.
I think it's 3.
Okay. So whatever, they've lost those games and they turned the ball over, so there's a clue, but good luck turning it over. I think they're just really good. Well, UConn might clearly be the favorite now after this stumble by Purdue. We'll see. Purdue, again, they control their destiny. We control our destiny, at least for a co-championship with Purdue. We'd have to win the rest of our games, which won't be easy.
So Purdue is 23-4 on this season.
That's their 4th loss.
And Ohio State Buckeyes 16-11.
No, they were 4-10 coming into that game in the Big Ten. They were near the bottom of the Big Ten. And they upset number 2 Purdue. We'll see what the new rankings say. Purdue will drop a few spots.
Did Zach Edey fall out?
No, Zach Edey did not. Zach Edey had his normal, 20-some and double digits rebound, 22 and 13 or whatever. I think for Zach Edey, you kind of say, well, the baseline's 20 and 10. You're 7'5". You're a good player. You ought to get at least 20 and you ought to get at least 10 rebounds, and he does every game.
Quite a break for the interim coach Jack Diebler for the Buckeyes. And
Jack Keebler.
It's D-I-E.
Diebler.
Yeah.
37-year-old kid as an interim.
Right.
And he's auditioning for something probably, but boy, that's a big job. Unless they just go crazy here at the end, it'd be hard to think he'd get it because I'm sure they got a name in mind of who they want.
I see.
But we'll see. But anyway, Illinois back in the race. I mean, it's Illinois and Purdue now near the top. Purdue with a 1.5 lead over Illinois. And we'll see if we can keep winning. We got to go to Penn State Wednesday. They put the game in a very small gym.
Right.
So there'll be 6,500 on top of you. That will be absolutely full and electric and loud. And I love an older team. But I don't know if we've been in the rec. We've not played in the rec, I don't think. So it's going to be noisy and loud. It's going to be like the rack at Rutgers probably.
Right.
Like that. And that's hard to win there too.
So we have our Illinois women in action at 1 o'clock against Indiana if you want to check out a game here on President's Day. And we had Northwestern over Indiana 76-72 yesterday. Minnesota beat Rutgers 81-70. And we already mentioned the Buckeyes over the Boilermakers.
Low again every one. Let's check weather for East Central Illinois, Champaign and Memphis. Saturday, the look and feel for a change of midwinter time across the area, coming off anywhere between 3 and 5 inches of snow across the area, much lesser to the north and northwest. Some spots down towards Effingham at 7.5, and a couple of reports of thunder down there on Friday's snow event. Well, plenty of belting and thawing this afternoon of the same with a sunny sky. Southwest to south breezes will be light and high at about 41. Not so cold tonight, but certainly plenty of that melt water will firm on up. Maybe an area of frost and freeze that will accrete on some of the colder surfaces as well. Perhaps some patchy frost as we get to it, and a low down to 26 tomorrow. Mostly sunny and 48. South winds pick on up. We'll stay above freezing here for tomorrow night, and a breezy and milder Wednesday at 57. Bit of rain and 52 on Thursday. So the end of the week still early spring-like. Slight cooling for the weekend in the 40s, 50s next Sunday, 60s next week. For Stevie Jay Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Soldgang.
All right, thank you, sir. It's hard to recognize the full impact of the nearly 1.3 million American charitable nonprofits. Wow, I didn't know there were that many. From hospitals to youth clubs, parks to humane societies, and everything in between, these organizations provide value services, perks, and entertainment to our lives. How do these nonprofits function? Oftentimes you only see volunteers on the front lines like Diane, who organizes volunteers, who directs the organization at whole. Well, Nonprofit board members are responsible for guiding these organizations, shaping shared beliefs into actionable plans. Busey wants you to be aware of this. Busey's proud to give back to their community by doing the right thing for their customers, building trusted relationships that span generations. Full-time associates receive 2 hours of paid volunteer time every month, inspiring Team Busey to find causes that resonate with them and get involved. In 2023, last year, Busey associates generously gave nearly 16,000 hours.
That's amazing.
16,000 hours of their time to hundreds of community organizations.
More companies need to jump in on that formula of getting some paid time off to, do something you're passionate about.
Well, and how about 180 people that work at Busey actively commit to board service in their town? Visit busey.com/thepillar, and you can learn more about nonprofit board service, and visit busey.com/impact if you'd like to learn more about Busey's commitment to communities we serve. Busey, member FDIC, an equal housing lender. All right, President's Day. I don't know what's even open today.
The banks are off. I know you just
And
talked
post
about
office.
Busey's, but yeah.
Post office,
I think
banks.
the schools are out too.
I think some are, but it's very difficult to navigate. Your school, you know what your school is doing.
That's right.
That's all you need to know.
I'm Neil Cavuto, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Goldman Sachs is optimistic about the economy. It sees the S&P 500 rising to 5,200 by the end of the year. The big bank's economists are predicting stronger consumer spending and investing in housing, and it's raising its forecast for GDP growth to 2.4% by the end of the year. You'll need to wait longer for a new Switch console. Nintendo is reported to be telling game publishers it won't be released until March of next year. It was expected later this year. Boeing and Airbus are facing a new threat. China just debuted its new C919 jet at the Singapore Air Show, and it's seeking European approval. The aircraft is manufactured by state-owned Commercial Aircraft Corporation of China. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jenny Cosola, invested in you.
From the Fox News Podcasts Network.
Hey there, it's me, Kennedy. Make sure to check out my podcast, Kennedy Saves the World. It is 5 days a week. Every week, we check in with Jimmy Fallon, bring in authors for the book club, and even treat some of your favorite Fox personalities to a very special happy hour. Download and listen at foxnewspodcast.com or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast.
Kennedy Saves the World. America's listening to Fox News.
BMW, Buick, GMC, Honda, and Subaru. Welcome to Sarah Champagne. We can handle all your car repairs on site, including paintless dent repair, bumpers, windshields, everything in between. We have an amazing selection of new or pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Shop from home and buy online or reserve your vehicle before it hits our website or dealership. Sarah Champagne is home of the Sarah One Price Promise, delivering an honest and transparent buying experience. Hurry in or shop online at sarahchampagne.com.
Are you tired of shivering in the winter? Look no further than your local heroes at ABC Heating and Air Conditioning. Hi, this is Gina inviting you to give us a call at 217-352-5400 to book your appointment to make sure your furnaces run safely and efficiently this winter. We've been proudly locally owned and operated and have been serving our community for over 50 years. ABC, always be comfortable. Call me 217-352-5400 to book your appointment today or go to abcheatingandac.com.
Illini fans, this year we celebrate the 100th anniversary of Memorial Stadium for the 2024 Fighting Illini football season. Season tickets for the 2024 football season are on sale now, and Illini fans who renew their season tickets by February 1st are eligible to win amazing prizes, memorabilia, and experiences. Secure your season tickets for Homecoming, Dad's Day, and a special rededication of Memorial Stadium on October 19th against Michigan. Visit fightingillini.com for more information.
You have money laying all around your house. You just don't know it. And no, I don't mean selling your great-grandma's good china. I mean all the old metal items you don't want to use or get rid of. Don't pay someone to haul it away. Bring it into Max Twin City Recycling and get paid to have it taken off your hands. They love new customers and are more than willing to walk you through their process step by step. Come check them out at 2808 North Lincoln Avenue in Urbana.
Starting it over is what we do at Max Twin City Recycling.
Hi, this is Chris Jackson with Kramer Siding and Window. And whatever your project, you can count on Kramer Siding to offer you the best products backed by the best warranties in the business and a lifetime of great customer service. And right now, you can save 10% on roofing, sunrooms, and decks, get 15% off gutter helmet, and you can save 25% on preservation siding, windows, and doors. So call today or visit us at kramersiding.com and let's get started on your project.
You've changed thousands of diapers, played hours of peekaboo and duck, duck, goose because you do anything for your kids. That's why it's so important to protect them with life insurance from State Farm. State Farm agent Kurt Lenschow will help make it easy and affordable to help you protect your family no matter what the future holds. Because for the people you do anything for, life insurance could mean everything. Call State Farm agent Kurt Lenschow in Champaign-Urbana today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Tapman's Towing reminds all Illini fans, when you're on the road and see lights flashing, move over and use caution passing. Let's all get home safe tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be nice to hear. You know what great thing about baseball is when we carry the Cubs and the Cardinals, Cubs live at US 105.9, Cardinals live here at ESPN 93. The sound of it. The sound of it.
The sounds of summer.
The sounds of summer and just the game on in the background. 162 games, really hard to see them all. And with my new son-in-law, Jacob Hurtubise, who's out in spring training, just hearing tidbits of stuff about every day is something. They had a big full physical that they gave every member of the team. And so, I make sure they're all healthy and blood tests, the whole thing, making sure they're good. And just hearing the backstories of some of the stuff they go through and the workout schedules and the food and all the stuff provided and everything. Yep. Pretty cool. But you're trying to keep your job. Can you imagine going to work every day hoping you have a job tomorrow? I mean, it's not quite that abrupt, but it can be.
That would be crazy.
It's just some guys, you're toiling in the minor leagues, and then all of a sudden you hear that you've been traded, or you hear you've been dropped and you're unassigned and you have no team. And yeah, I get it, but very few people you see making the big bucks. Very few make the big bucks. From the standpoint of number of players versus those that cash in, not very many. The odds are not very good. Mm-hmm. So just for Jacob to be at the level he's at is exciting, to be on the 40-man roster, to actually have a chance to get to Cincinnati and play in a game. I mean, there's that chance this year. He's got to play well, and guess what? Everybody's good.
That's right.
I mean, everybody's not just good. Everybody's great. These are the best of the best of the best that have somehow gotten to this level, and now they got to get better to get to the next level. It's just, but you don't put it, if you're a golfer, how many golfers are better than you? A lot, a whole lot. Yeah. And you think you're good, and then all of a sudden some guy shoots 61 or whatever. Hideo Matsuyama yesterday, he went in 5-6 shots behind and went crazy. And I presume he won the Genesis. He was up in the last hole.
Was Tiger in it at all?
Tiger had to leave.
Okay, the back spasm?
Well, he apparently was sick, too.
Oh, shoot.
So he only lasted 7 holes into the second round.
Okay.
I don't know. With as much torque as Tiger put on his body, it's probably just kind of done. I don't know if he can ever win again. Anyway, so in golf, it's the same. Everybody's good. In basketball, everybody's good. You're playing every gym, AAU. You're going every. By the way, you go to AAU to pay for your team to be on a team, right? You get $1,000 to get on a team. Then you go to the gym. It's like $30 per family member to get in. Where's my son's playing? $30. There's 5 of us. That's $150.
I see.
They're cashing out.
Wow.
It's so much cash going on. It's so much. So it's just that the point is, if you are successful past grade 12 in any sport, you're special. You're very unique to play anything past grade 12. That's high school. If you're playing in college, I don't care if it's D3, 150th team, you're good. Everybody's good. Go to a Division III football game and see how hard they hit and how big they are. Mm-hmm. Go to watch a USFL or whatever football is about to start up in the spring. They're all really good.
Yep.
And they hit really hard.
That's right.
It's just so competitive. So baseball is just like that. Everybody's good. And you got to play well and stay healthy and all that stuff.
So March 28th, the Cubs will have the Texas Rangers, and the Cardinals will have the LA Dodgers.
We're not kind to the Cubbies that face the World Series champions, who are very good, obviously. And then the Cardinals have to play in the Shohei Ohtani opening series.
Right.
Shohei's going to bat third, is what they've said, and he's the greatest hitter in baseball today. And so the Dodgers are loaded up. It's one of those let's buy me a team thing, and I'm already bitter and salty about it. Anyway, we'll cover it all. Trey Ying's standing by. He's in Israel. We're going to go live to Israel next, ESPN 93.5.
Fox News, I'm Therese Crowley. On this American President's Day, discussions about dealing with Russian President Putin with worldwide protests over the Siberian prison camp death of his chief opposition, Alexei Navalny. Senator Lindsey Graham tells Fox.
Why don't we do this? I just got off the phone with 2 Democratic senators. Let's make Russia a state-sponsored terrorism under U.S. law. Let's make them pay a price for killing Navalny. It would allow the Navalny family to go to U.S. court and sue Putin's Russia for killing of their loved one.
Burnsville, Minnesota, grieving over the domestic call killings of 2 police officers and a paramedic. The suspect barricaded his family with 7 children. The kids were okay. The suspect dead. Today's the day trucker Chicago Ray predicts truckers will refuse loads to New York City, protesting the huge court judgment against former President Trump's real estate empire. America is listening to Fox News.
Here's a look at local news. Well, following the death of Brandon Hardaway, victim of the shooting outside of Poor Brothers Tap Room on February 8, Champaign police will classify the investigation as a homicide case. The officials say the investigation indicates Fidel Shamanga of Urbana had shot Hardaway before fleeing the scene. He's still awaiting trial. Champaign firefighters called out for a garage fire Saturday night. Neighbor alerting the department to a fire garage in the 1600 block of Williamsburg Drive. Smoke and fire coming from the attached garage of a single-story home. Good news, crews able to contain the fire to the garage. The cause is under investigation. The Office of the Illinois State Fire Marshal pushing back a deadline for volunteer emergency responders to receive a tax credit. The Volunteer Emergency Worker Credit is a $500 non-refundable credit that can be used to reduce individual state income tax liability over the next 4 years. The credit's awarded to volunteer fire workers that apply for it and qualify for it. You're up to date from the Stevie Jay Broadcasting Newsroom. I'm Joe Miller.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for East Central Illinois, Champaign, and Ben Nevis Saturday. Nice one ahead. Holiday for some coming off late last week's snow and very cold weather over the weekend. It's back into perhaps a more or less spring-like feel around these parts as the week wears on, and another run of extended early spring-like weather for next week. Sunny turning out as cold later in this afternoon. Light southeast to south wind will become southwest, and highs topping out around 41. For tonight, partly cloudy skies, not so cold either. Lows down to 26, light south wind for the day tomorrow, mostly sunny, 48 in the afternoon as south breezes pick up. We'll level off into the 30s tomorrow night, heading towards the 50s, 57 on Wednesday, with a mostly sunny, breezy, milder day. Be a bit of rain with temperatures up to 52 on Thursday, slight cooling over the course of Friday and Saturday, but still above average at 45 on Friday, a Saturday high of 47, or back into the 50s on Sunday, 60-degree weather early next week. For Stevie Jay Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Solgay.
We go all the way to Israel. Trey Yingst, he has been covering this war in Israel since, I think, day one. Trey, you've been over there since the beginning, have you not?
Yep, absolutely.
And you don't want to take a break or get away from the violence? I mean, how are you dealing with it personally?
Personally, I'm doing well. We're used to these environments and these long hours on a story like this, and 136 days into the war, we continue our coverage day and night, just following the developments on the ground and the information that we can gather.
Do you digest the fact that you're in danger, or do you just have to put that away?
The danger changes day to day, and so there are times where we can relax when we're reporting from Tel Aviv. When we go into Gaza with the Army, those times are quite tense, and so that certainly requires another level of focus and preparation, understanding that you're in the middle of the battle zone. But it's a mixed bag of days that we face covering a war like this, and a lot of uncertainty about even what happens day to day, not to discuss even what comes next in all of this.
Trey Yingst is on the Tapman's Joint phone line all the way from Israel to give us this update. Where would you say everything is today, 137 days or so after this started?
So right now, a lot of focus has to do with the hostages that are still being held by Hamas inside Gaza. We're talking about more than 130 people. Around 20% of them are believed to be dead. But the Israelis are still going after Hamas leadership as we speak, and they're facing intense resistance in the southern part of the Strip. So Right now, there are conversations that are taking place. You could call them negotiations, although both sides say the negotiations aren't really going anywhere. They've called the other's demands unreasonable. And so while those parallel negotiations take place, so do the operations on the ground, because there is an understanding that with no diplomatic solution, the war will continue. And if the Israelis are not able to get the hostages out of Gaza, they will push forward with their efforts to destroy Hamas in these southern cities where they're operating right now, focusing the efforts today around the second largest city in Gaza of Khan Yunis. And ultimately, according to our sources, they will at some point go into Gaza's southernmost city of Rafah.
As the days pass, Trey, I mean, obviously what happened October 7 was horrific, it just indescribable, awful. And yet it feels like as time passes, do the allies soften on Israel, saying, well, there's so many that have died? And I mean, how does it ever end when the goal is to eliminate Hamas, which I think is an impossibility because new people join all the time and they come in from there and there? How does this end?
You're exactly right. And while the Israelis often will say publicly their plans are to destroy Hamas, they may be able to go after Hamas leadership inside Gaza, but they can't defeat the organization. An organization that in the West Bank has popular support, in Gaza also has popular support, though not as high as the West Bank, and an organization that is able to lose a commander from a rocket squad or even from a group of gunmen in the West Bank and then quickly replace them within 24 hours. And so they won't ever be able to destroy Hamas as an organization. They can degrade their capabilities to govern and launch attacks from Gaza, but they will still be able to conduct lone wolf attacks. They will be able to conduct localized attacks against forces that are still operating on the ground there. So as to how this all ends, the short answer is that it doesn't. It changes. And they will go into a new phase in Gaza, likely in the coming weeks, that will involve sort of the last intense fighting in the Strip to clear out the southernmost city of Rafah. And then there are these questions about the day after the war and what that will look like. And the Israelis have floated different ideas of who would control Gaza. They've been very clear that there is no intention for the Israeli government or military to control Gaza, but they will face a huge challenge trying to find moderate Palestinian voices that could not only govern the Strip, but also be accepted by the population there, more than 2 million Palestinians who are living inside Gaza as we speak.
What is the size, when you say Gaza, what mileage, how many miles by how many miles are we talking?
So we're talking about 25 miles long and anywhere from 3 to 7 miles wide, depending on where you are in the Strip. And it is an area of land that truly is one of the most densely populated places on Earth. And when you look at the Gaza Strip, it is a strip of land. It borders Israel, Egypt, and the Mediterranean Sea. And there are 3 major population centers, Gaza City, Khan Yunis, and Rafah, in that order, from the first, second, and third largest. The issue for the Israelis now is also understanding that once the war is over, you will still have 2 million civilians on the border of Israel who will need things like water. They will need food. They will need places to live. And we have seen Gaza firsthand with the Israeli military inside Gaza City and in Khan Yunis, the second largest city where they're operating now. And the majority of buildings are destroyed or at least damaged. And so there will be no place for these civilians to return to. There are real serious issues like lack of aid, food, and medical supplies for the Palestinian civilians that are living there. And these are all issues that, while they are localized to the Gaza Strip, will affect Israel in their ongoing support, as we talked about with the allies, including the United States, a close friend of Israel, and also with the international community, because they are facing pressure from countries in the Gulf that have previously looked to normalize relations with Israel, but have now faced new pressure as the war between Israel and Hamas continues.
I don't know how Israel can negotiate when the goal of Hezbollah, Hamas, Iran, and others, they just want Israel to be gone. How do you negotiate when the answer is my death? It doesn't make what the world?
It's a good question, and it's a big question for the Israelis right now when they look at the northern front. Because remember, when this war started, Israel was attacked from multiple arenas across the region, not only from Gaza with groups like Hamas and Islamic Jihad, but notably from southern Lebanon with the Iran-backed Lebanese militant group Hezbollah, and then other actors from places like Yemen with the Iran-backed Houthis, Iran-backed Iraqi Shia militias, Syrian militias, and even other sort of small cells that are backed by Iran across the region. And so the focus for Israel right now is not just the southern front, but understanding where the next attack might come from. And there are ongoing attacks from southern Lebanon. Hezbollah is really the biggest fear for the Israelis. They understand that what we saw on October 7th and the days that followed in terms of rocket fire and border incursions into southern Israel would be just a fraction of what would happen if there was a war between Israel and Hezbollah. And our sources in Tel Aviv, top defense officials indicate this is the likely outcome, a conflict between Israel and Hezbollah, an organization that has more than 100,000 rockets and missiles. They have precision-guided missiles that have been smuggled in, at least the components, from Iran, using the airport in Damascus, sometimes the airport in Aleppo, any way possible to get these weapons into southern Lebanon. And they also have thousands of trained fighters. And so that's the big war on the horizon for Israel that the Israelis are preparing for when it comes to acquiring missiles, when it comes to placing missile defense systems in the northern part of their country, and also talking with reservists here on the ground who say that is what they're training for, understanding where their mission will be if and when that war erupts with Hezbollah.
Trey Yingst, just another minute. Does Israel believe that the U.S. has been steadfast, or is that feeling like contentious as we've heard rumors about Biden and Netanyahu?
There's a lot of frustration, it seems, from the administration toward the Israeli government. And it's not surprising because given the current political environment here, many of the decisions made on the ground within the Israeli government of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and a considerably far-right coalition relative to past governments in Israel, those decisions are made oftentimes against what the Americans would traditionally like to see the Israelis do. And sometimes that has to do with aid deliveries into Gaza and the leverage that the Israeli government tries to keep over Palestinian factions there. Sometimes it has to do with the expansion of settlements in the West Bank. Other times it has to simply do with the statements that are being made by some of the far-right ministers that only add gasoline to an already expanding fire. And so these reports are accurate. There is real tension between the Biden administration and the government of Benjamin Netanyahu. In terms of the military support, though, and the operations behind the scenes to not only make sure Israel has enough weapons and funding for an ongoing conflict and the possibility of a broader conflict, but also to ensure that a message is sent to Iran and its proxies across the region that if they go to a broader war with Israel, the United States will be there to help.
Tell you what, Trey Yingst, this is just pure journalism, and this is just unbelievable, the detail you're giving us. Number one, stay safe. Number two, keep firing these stories because you're educating a lot of the world based on you. There's not a lot of guys doing this, and yet you're doing a great job, and we really appreciate the information because it's critical we know what's happening. Thank you so much for joining us again.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Trey Yingst is live from Israel this morning on the Tavin's Showing phone line. Just pure information there. And again, no solutions. I don't know. Divine intervention. Change the hearts of men.
Absolutely.
No idea how else they're going to do this.
In an ever-changing real estate market, it is so important to work with experienced agents like Russ and Nick Taylor with the Taylor teams at Taylor Realty Associates. They have the knowledge and expertise to get your home sold for the most amount of money in the shortest amount of time. Trust the experience and success of Russ and Nick Taylor with the Taylor team at Taylor Realty Associates. Give them a call today at 217-355-0700 or visit them online at taylorboys.com. That's taylorboys.com.
Did you know the Anita Purvis Nature Center is a home for live animals? Stop by the Nature Center. View the turtles, owls, snakes, and salamanders. These were orphaned or injured animals who wouldn't be able to survive in the wild, but they help educate the public at the Nature Center. Sponsor an educational animal for as little as $15 a month. And make sure that animal has good food, housing, and medical care. For details, visit urbanaparks.org.
You have money laying all around your house. You just don't know it. And no, I don't mean selling your great-grandma's good china. I mean all the old metal items you don't want to use or get rid of. Don't pay someone to haul it away. Bring it into Max Twin City Recycling and get paid to have it taken off your hands. They love new customers and are more than willing to walk you through their process step by step. Come check them out at 2808 North Lincoln Avenue in Urbana.
Starting it over is what we do at Max Twin City Recycling.
All right, we check your sports headlines. ESPN 93.5. Big win for the Illini over Maryland on Saturday. That was awesome.
Yes.
Illini women today.
That's right. They're taking on Indiana with a 1 o'clock tip-off. If you want to check that out on President's Day. And that win over Maryland hasn't happened since 2011 at their place. And it could put us with a share of the Big Ten title if we win out.
Yep.
And since Purdue was, taken down by the Buckeyes yesterday, 73-69.
That was a shock. I mean, really a shock that would happen. Buckeyes fired their coach, have an interim kid on there, 37-year-old guy, did a great job preparing him, but nothing really different is what Matt Painter said. Said it was, but they played with energy. He said it's all the players. The players have to really take charge of these games. It's a player's game, is what Matt Painter said after the game, but it does give us a chance, a window, being a game and a half behind Purdue. If Illinois were to win the last 6, we'd at least be co-champs. If Purdue wins the rest of theirs as well. But clearly, the Big Ten is now defined by Purdue and Illinois, and the rest of the teams are 2 games at least behind, or a game and a half to 2 games behind the Illini in third, fourth. And again, what we want is the 2-day bye for the Big Ten tournament in Minneapolis this year. And you start on Wednesday, Thursday, and then we want to play Friday, and then we're in the semis already.
Yeah.
So we want that double bye to see if we can play less games. And then, of course, the selection Sundays, that Sunday after the championship game. So
that's right.
We'll see. We got a good basketball team.
Elsewhere in the Big Ten, Northwestern over Indiana 76-72, and Minnesota beat Rutgers 81-70 following St. John's 8th loss in the past 10 games. Coach Rick Pitino lamented that his team has lack of toughness and athleticism, saying, "This has been the most unenjoyable experience in my coaching history."
It's like 50 years. Rick Pitino's been coaching for a long time. Who's he coached for again?
St. John's.
Okay. All right. Well,
if I said I was disappointed, it would be an understatement of the year.
Gotcha.
Our lateral quickness, our toughness is just something I've never witnessed in all my years.
Gotcha.
I just thought it was funny.
Not
when
so
I was
good, huh? Not so good. Okay.
So, I saw some stuff on social media about him, lamenting, and it just seems wild that he's calling everybody out like that and calling them all wusses or something.
Essentially, yeah.
Exactly. Eastern over Western, a 211-186 NBA on their All-Star game is saying we just wanted an effort. There was no defense in this 397-point game, but that's okay. Talk about an effort. Centennial's Jack Barnhart, state champion in Class 2A, 285, and Hunter Easton of the Unity Rockets, 1A, 190, another state champion at the State Farm Center this past weekend.
Yep. We enjoyed having the wrestlers in town, and they've had in the past, they've busted some walls in hotels.
That's right.
I haven't heard any incidents lately.
I haven't either.
Good for them.
Good behavior on everybody.
849.
Rising costs of goods, unpredictable weather, and seasonal depression got you feeling down? Let Dogtown Heating, Air, and Plumbing brighten your winter blues. Dogtown is offering $1,000 off any Bradford Whitewater heater, Rinnai tankless water heater, or Bosch mini split unit when you buy a Lennox home comfort system. No gimmicks, no hidden fees, just $1,000 in savings when you call Dogtown Heating, Air, and Plumbing, 217-841-4728. Offering 0% financing options for qualifying applicants. Dogtown Heating, Air, and Plumbing, your home's best friend.
Illini fans, this year we celebrate the 100th anniversary of Memorial Stadium for the 2024 Fighting Illini football season. Season tickets for the 2024 football season are on sale now, and Illini fans who renew their season tickets by February 1st are eligible to win amazing prizes, memorabilia, and experiences. Secure your season tickets for homecoming, Dad's Day, and a special rededication of Memorial Stadium on October 19th against Michigan. Visit fightingillini.com for more information.
Hi, this is Troy Lands from Lands Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. With colder temperatures here, let's make sure your heating system is operating at its best. At Lands, you can join our comfort family and get exclusive savings and support to keep your heating system in tip-top shape this winter and all year round. Our plans offer tune-ups, discounts on repair, and even lifetime system enhancements. Plus, we back up our equipment with labor warranty when we install it. Find out more about our comfort family maintenance plans at landsinc.com. I'm Troy Lands, and you can count on my company because you can count on me.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for East Central Illinois, Champaign and Van Anvis. Saturday, the look and feel for a change of midwinter time across the area, coming off anywhere between 3 and 5 inches of snow across the area, much lesser to the north and northwest. Some spots down towards Effingham at 7.5, and a couple of reports of thunder down there on Friday's snow event. Well, plenty of melting and thawing this afternoon of the same with a sunny sky. Southwest to south breezes will be light and high to about 41. Not so cold tonight, but certainly plenty of that melt water will firm on up. Maybe an area of frost and freeze that will accrete on some of the colder surfaces as well. Perhaps some patchy frost as we get to it, and a low down to 26 tomorrow. Mostly sunny and 48 south winds pick on up. We'll stay above freezing here for tomorrow night, and a breezy and milder Wednesday at 57. Bit of rain and 52 on Thursday. So the end of the week still early spring-like. Slight cooling for the weekend in the 40s, 50s next Sunday, 60s next week. For Stevie Jay Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Solgay.
Short-term market fluctuations can be unnerving for everyone. A proven way to tune out the noise and focus on long-term investment goals is to adhere to a well-constructed investment plan. This is Rob Meyer with Provident Financial Group. If you don't have a plan, we can help create one designed specifically for you. Call us today for a complimentary consultation at 217-366-3456 or online at providentfinancialgroupllc.com.
Securities and advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network, member FINRA, SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
Are you one of those guys out there tinting windows day in and day out, all different shades of black, and ready to put a little color in your life? Come work for us. At Aftershock, we're looking for a guy with experience in wrapping, whether it be window tinting, vinyl wrapping, anything of that sort, or somebody with just ambition that wants to show up to work and be proud of what they do. You know those wraps with Troy Lands on the back waving at you? That's our work. Call us, 833-DECAL-IT, or email office@aftershockdd.com. We want you.
Switching is easy. We do it all the time. We switch on the lights. We switch TV channels. Some of us switch partners while square dancing. Well, that's a stretch. But what's not a stretch is how you can switch and save with State Farm. In fact, State Farm agent Kurt Lenschow right here in Champaign-Urbana can switch you over so you can start saving today. Kurt and his team are ready to welcome you to the State Farm neighborhood. It's easy to switch and save. Just give them a call when you want the real deal. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. All right, so what do the boys say this afternoon? Derek Piper, Kyle Tosk, Lon Tay, 3 till 5. They'll be on this afternoon talking, obviously, about the Maryland win and the Penn State cracker box that we play on Wednesday night.
Yes.
Don't blame them. I would do the same darn thing. But what I understand about the Rec, David said he was at Rec Hall for the volleyball match. Very small hall, just a bit larger than Huff. So Huff holds, what, through 4,000?
Right.
With some pillars in the way.
Okay.
All that. This one doesn't have those, I don't think. It's a little more modern, but it holds 6,500, and they can get 6,500 to come to that game. It's right by the dorms, too.
Okay.
And they'll probably give away free tuition just to get them in there.
I don't think
listen,
so.
Penn State,
I mean, all they need is pizza or something.
Remember, Penn State beat Wisconsin by a lot. They beat them, like creamed them. That was a week ago. So, I mean, they're obviously good. And now we got this.
Was that at the Rec
I don't think so, but I don't know. Anyway, they put themselves in a small environment because they can't get all the people to come in the big place. But it's going to be raucous, and our guys know it. And just go in there and do your best because it'll probably be close.
Yeah.
It's amazing, the Big Ten. And I think it's probably could be documented that we get everybody's best effort and the fans get into it because it's Illinois.
That's right.
Probably same thing happens to Purdue because they're pretty high visibility.
Yes, and Zach Edey's so tall and all that, dominating.
All right, we'll be at it again tomorrow. Thank you, Diane.
Enjoy the President's Day.
You got it. GoStever.com has Interstate batteries, free batteries. I'm handing out a GoStever.com from Interstate Batteries, outrageously dependable. GoStever.com. Thank you for listening. Meet you back tomorrow. Have a great Monday. Tim Onstad. So, dedicated diesel, Dixie Chopper will be mowing probably in a month. What do you got? Any Dixie Choppers to talk about?
Oh, yeah, she apparently likes presidents better than she likes love, because she came in and said, hey, the rest of this week and next week for President's Day, $1,000 off any mower.
What?
Go see Andy, 1313 Triumph Drive in Urbana, or give him a call at 217-328-0562 and tell him Donna said to give you $1,000 off any mower.
The heck kind of power is that? That's kind of cool. Wow. She just comes in and says that.
Go ahead, Donna.
Wow, way to go, Donna. Okay, so what we're doing at Gale Forex Trucking?
We're doing good. I've got 2 open spots for good company drivers for regional. We had 2 guys that apparently have done well enough that decided to buy their own trucks and lease on as owner-operators, so that opens up 2 company spots for us.
Wow. Gale Forex Trucking, what's your email?
Contact me at timo@gftlog.com.
At Pards in Urbana, the boots just keep on coming. They're known for their huge collection of men's cowboy boots, women's cowgirl boots, kids' boots, and even shoes. If you're searching for top footwear brands, look no further than Pards. They carry a wide variety, including Ariat, Dan Post, Smoky Mountain, Roper, Double H, and more. And if socks or accessories are what you need, they've got all your high-quality essentials. Since 1968, Pards has been serving their customers with high-quality merchandise. And if you haven't been to Pards in a while, a lot has changed. Go check them out just off University Avenue in Urbana.
Welcome to Dick Van Dyke Appliance World.
Hi, I'm looking for a refrigerator.
When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
Oh, yeah, well, I just need a refrigerator. Don't need the whole store.
But you get it, the whole store.
My kitchen is only about this big.
You get me.
Hello.
All those delivery, installation, and service technicians in back.
Wow, all those people?
The Dick Van Dyke 5-10-year protection plan, which means in the unlikely event something goes wrong in the first 5 years, your repair cost is nothing.
Nothing?
10 years parts coverage on the major components.
Looks like I'm getting more than a refrigerator today. How much does this whole store cost?
Nothing.
Come on.
For real. We guarantee to beat any competitor's deal, all that other stuff we talked about, like our service tax.
And your 5-10-year protection plan?
All included.
I'm Dennis Freak and chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. And when we say you get the whole store, we mean the whole store. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
Get the roof your home deserves by Roof Doctors, your residential roofing specialist that has always offered the best warranties in the industry, like our non-prorated 50-year warranty. Our customers love that we are family-owned and locally operated. We make our customer needs our top priority. With over 30 years experience and the best customer service, give Roof Doctors a call today for your free estimate at 328-7529. In your community and for your community, Roof Doctors.
Are you one of those guys out there tinting windows day in and day out, all different shades of black, and ready to put a little color in your life? Come work for us. At Aftershock, we're looking for a guy with experience in wrapping, whether it be window tinting, vinyl wrapping, anything of that sort, or somebody with just ambition that wants to show up to work and be proud of what they do. You know those wraps with Troy Lands on the back waving at you? That's our work. Call us, 833-DECAL-IT, or email office@aftershockdd.com. We want you.
Short-term market fluctuations can be unnerving for everyone. A proven way to tune out the noise and focus on long-term investment goals is to adhere to a well-constructed investment plan. This is Rob Meyer with Provident Financial Group. If you don't have a plan, we can help create one designed specifically